Hello, internet friends, and welcome to the Legion Beta second pass look at the Holy Priest. And holy crap. After going over everything for discipline, Holy is like, that like first morning snow of the winter. You walk out there and it's like novel and it's fun and it just lightens your day up, that crisp morning air. Discipline was like, oh, the headaches and the weirdness and the nonsense and everything else. And then Holy is just like, you're still a jack of all trades. And I spoke to Automatic Jack, the jack of all priests, to make sure I'm on the same page with a certain number of things with the spec overall and some talents and even that kind of stuff like that and how DPSing feels. I'll go over all that, of course, in this video. But check below if you want to watch the entire VOD of testing. It's linked below, as well as my bug reports and notes are all down below as well. Discipline Priest had like a page of problems. Holy has like 5 sentences. And like 2 of them are like just tooltip errors. So I'm just like, okay. So the polish on Holy Priest is, by and large, a lot better than Discipline, which is crazy. So it's good, right? That's a good thing. But overall, Holy looks solid. It has a lot of different variation in the talents and the healing play style. The overall chakra system is gone. So that your holy words now, you have 1 DPS, you have 1 AoE, and you have 1 single target, are all very just integral to your spec, and you do different things to lower the cooldowns of them as you just regularly heal. This like risk-reward system, mostly a reward system with Holy, is really potent in the overall feel of the spec. So we'll do Spellbook, and then Artifact, and then we'll do the talents later on. So let's take off. So I always pronounce this Lovecraftian style, so it's Tu'ur, right? T, like Cthun, you know, stuff like that, right? N-Zoth. But apparently, talking to Jack about this, it's actually pronounced Ture and not Tu'ur. So you can tell me in the comments below what you've heard or what you think it should be pronounced as. It's not really a big deal for me. The Beacon of the Naru is your artifact weapon, and it looked amazing. But let's go over these basic spell book, shall we? Get out of here. Talent calculator thing. So one of your passives is Spirit of Redemption. This is still very much a thing. So I have a talent right now it's basically improved death, where you gain 50% more duration of improved death. But Spirit of Redemption by default lasts 15 seconds. You cannot move, attack, or be targeted by any spells or effects after you die, but you can cast any healing spell for free for the whole duration, and when the effect ends, then you actually die. So Holy Priest still has improved death, as they have had for a very long time in this game. But we also have Serendipity now, which I talk about how the chakra system, a little framey there for a moment. What are you doing, Ashran? The chakra system now directly impacts how you heal. So when you flash heal or heal, it reduces the remaining cooldown of Serenity by 6 seconds. When you Prayer of Healing, your AoE heal, reduces the remaining cooldown of your Holy Word Sanctify by 6 seconds, your AoE heal. And then when you cast Smite, the remaining cooldown on your Holy Word Chastise, which is your single target like nuke / disorient or stun, is reduced by 6 seconds. So like if I cast my Sanctify right here real quick, right? Sanctify? Yeah, Sanctify, which is your AoE heal. And then I cast some Prayer of Healings, you'll notice the cooldown is reduced every time you do it. So it rewards you for rotating in your huge Holy Word spells, and then you get back your major ones. Which your major ones, of course, would be your... I have Surge of Light, obviously, right now. And then you get your major big cooldown again. Same thing with single target heals. So you have Holy Word Serenity, which I'm going to show off now, is the largest single target heal in the entire game in Legion, next to Lay on Hands, on a 1-minute cooldown. This thing heals for a lot. But then, of course, when you flash heal or heal, the cooldown is reduced. So it rewards you for playing and healing properly and giving you your big, rotational, huge heals back. It's incredibly rewarding, I think, from my point of view, to get these cooldowns and have them in the fight more often as you heal properly. Talking to Jack about how Holy used to heal right now and how it's going to heal. You saw me cast Renew there, which just does a light healing instantly and then a amount over 15 seconds. Renew has been like your filler for a very long time. But Renew is like not that big of a deal anymore. Like your new rotational filler as a healer is just heal. So, and heal and flash heal have the exact same healing amount. Right now it's 82.1, but heal costs virtually no mana, but a longer cast time. And flash heal is a very, very fast cast time, but the same amount of healing, but it costs more mana, of course. So flash heal is for emergencies. Heal is obviously for your filler and your most efficient heal, and it gives you more Serenity, which Serenity does, of course, cost more mana. Your Holy Words do cost a fair bit of mana. Your DPS one, not so much. But with Sanctify, as it heals up to 6 allies within 10 yards of the drop instantly, or Serenity, which is a single target ally for, right now I have my weapon off, obviously, but it's like 500,000 healing. And it only gets higher from there with the artifact. Jack told me he had seen like 1.678 million Holy Word Serenities. I can see like a 1.2 in testing. And that's, of course, with procs and everything else stacked up in crazy RNG. But so Renew is like, you could have it on the tanks, I suppose, but it's not incredibly rotational anymore because it kind of costs a lot of mana because it's just an instant cost for 22,000. So if you just spam Renew, you will chunk yourself for mana. But that's how Serendipity works. And it's just really easy and refreshing, and it rewards you properly. The DPS version, of course, is that so you have Holy Fire, and then you have Smite, then your Chastise, which is a huge single-target nuke. By default, Chastise is also an Incapacitate. It does a lot of damage, and it's a 5-second Incapacitate. You can take a talent called Censure, which will then make it a 5-second ranged stun, which is just huge for dungeons and questing. PvP, I would imagine, too, in the same way. It's ginormously powerful if you take Censure. I'll leave that talented now so you know that's going to be happening in the video from here on in. But it's a 5-second range stun, and it does a lot of damage. So your DPS rotation overall for Holy is very simple. But questing as a Holy Priest, like I can go out there and kill mobs at 110 right now, and they're no problem. It gets even easier with the artifact, of course. Healers can quest pretty well. They're really doing a great job of balancing healer damage to be totally fine for questing. A lot of people have asked that before, like, well, how is questing as a healer? Because should I just quest as like Shadow Priest then? Or Discipline? But Holy Priest DPS, I feel, is like one of the two strongest, next to like Resto Druid. Restoration Druid, of course, has a passive Moonkin form if you take the Moonkin affinity, the Balance affinity. But Holy Priest has a lot of good damage, so don't worry about that. Just quest as Holy Priest. And of course, I mean, the testing is over right now. This is the end of the testing, because you still have... Are there any other spells you need as a Holy Priest besides Holy Nova? Do you need anything else besides this? It only does damage now. Holy Nova is just an AoE. Just an AoE. Does not heal anything. There's no talents that make it heal anything. It's just an AoE. But yeah, you have an AoE, you have a single target. So Smite, actually, when we go into the DPS stuff. So Holy Fire is an instant cast that does initial holy damage and then additional holy damage over 7 seconds, rather, on a 10-second cooldown. But it stacks up to 2 times. So it can stack up to 2 times for a larger dot. So how that works is that Smite has a 20% chance to reset the cooldown of Holy Fire. So as you spam Smite in your rotation, and you lower the cooldown of Chastise, you also reset Holy Fire. So it's a very simple rotation, sure, but as long as it's effective, and it has resets and cooldown reduction interactions, and you would weave in some Divine Star there for actual extra DPS, I would imagine, because it's the best DPS, like, leveling talent. But yeah, you have enough options to do the deeps. And in a dungeon, it doesn't feel that bad to commit and actually put in some damage during a dungeon or, you know, any other situation, because it's not terrible. Healers do pretty okay damage. It's about 50 to 60% of an actual DPS, but it depends on your gear. And who knows, maybe you'll just take some DPS trinkets later on for, like, world questing. Be good to go. So Mirror Mastery is still Echo of Light, where your direct healing spells heal for an additional small amount over 6 seconds. I brought this up to Jack for early stat weight priority. And it looks like it's going to be Haste, Mastery, Crit, and then Versatility. I was curious if you'd ever have, like, any breakpoints, like if Echo of Light kind of doesn't get any better after a certain point, like it's okay, right? It's just free healing on everything. Obviously, the larger the heal, the larger the Echo of Light. But I don't know. Echo of Light will be a lot more effective in Legion because healing is a lot more of an uphill battle. And because mana matters in Legion for healers, you'll have a lot more time to wiggle around in there where your HOTS are actually sustaining people. And obviously during certain parts of encounters or wherever have you, different layers of HOTS are effective at keeping people alive. But I don't know if there's any breakpoints there. Haste is going to be fantastic for certain cooldown reductions as well as faster casts, because obviously heal is your filler, and it's a pretty long cast time, so getting that to be faster will obviously be very beneficial. But haste for the global cooldown reduction, the cast time speed, and a couple things that are reduced by haste will be really good to have haste. And then mastery for echo, and then crit. Crit is obviously unreliable, but there is an artifact synergy with critical strike, which you'll see soon, which is okay. It's just random. And then you have versatility, which is just flat damage, flat healing done, and then damage reduction, which people on the stream, and we've been going back and forth about this a lot, versatility in Warlords, I admit, it totally sucks. The way it like balances out in other stats, versatility is not that good. But versatility in Legion is a whole lot better, because there's only 4 stats. And in a way, I was being a little bit vindictive when I was testing, saying that, like, so critical strike, why do people love critical strike so much, right? Yeah, it'll do more healing and damage, but it's just a roll system. It's just like a, did this crit or not? No? Well, okay then. But versatility is just always there. It's boring, but it's very effective. And you do gain less versatility overall per point of stat than other ones because, you know, it's like a filler stat. But people need to, like, get in their head that versatility is not bad in Legion. Like, it's a great stat overall. It's just never going to be your main stat. A lot of tanks are going to love it, first off. There are other classes that really have, like, raw damage amplification that versatility is really good for. But overall, let's not giving versatility a bad rap, okay? It's all right. It's okay. I think you have Focused Will, which is melee attacks against you cause you to gain Focused Will. Same as Discipline Priest, where it reduces the damage you take by 15% for 8 seconds, up to 2 stacks. So when you're face tanking stuff, because you don't have Powered Shield anymore as Holy, you'll be able to at least have that stacking up as you're, you know, smiting and bursting things down to take less damage. Of course, remember you have a 5-second stun and a very short cooldown as you keep smiting things, so your overall damage taken is not too bad. And then, of course, you can just, like, renew yourself and then Serenity yourself for, you know, full heals between mobs anyway. So it's not bad at all. You still have Shackling Undead to shackle Undead. You have your single target resurrection. You have your mass resurrection. Mind control for Holy Priest. They do not have dominant mind like Discipline and Shadow. There's very, very little Shadow influence on the Holy Priest at all overall. So mind control is just mind control. One level above you is the maximum you can mind control. You lose control of your character. Cannot be worked on mechanical beings. Regular mind control can be used on players. But it's a CC / you get a pet bar when you mind control something, but there's no you get a pet. But Holy does have a pet, technically, which I'll show you later. Purify is your friendly Dispel, of course, that's still here. And Dispel Magic is your offensive Dispel. Those are both here as well for the Holy Priest. Not much change there. Prayer of Mending, of course, is still here. It does reduce its cooldown based on your haste. Prayer of Mending is a bouncing ability that once the target with Prayer of Mending takes damage, it'll bounce, lose a charge, and then heal the person, of course, that it bounced from. 20-yard bounce between each up to 5 times. You can stack Prayer of Mending to 10. But there's no more, I think the title is called like Holy Words or something like that, where after you cast so many heals, you get a free Prayer of Mending. That's gone. So now Prayer of Mending is just a very high priority rotational thing. I'm pretty sure you'll be casting this on cooldown, probably on your tank first. But there's other synergies with Prayer of Mending through your artifact that are okay. But overall, you know what Prayer of Mending does? It's very mana efficient. It bounces around, heals people, has a cast time now. In PvP, you can make it have not a cast time, but obviously in PvE, it's not a huge deal. The biggest drawback I was being told for the Holy Priest that people were like complaining about in chat was that it's a very turrety healer, and there's not a lot of heal on the move. Which your heal on the move obviously will be Renew. You can still use your Holy Words on the move because they're both instant. You know, you can use all of them. You will be using Chastise in raiding and dungeons all the time, even if you're not actually DPSing, for a reason you'll see soon. Because you'll be using it in your rotation for not only for helping to CC, but because of an artifact perk. But, you know, you can't cast all your major heals on the move, but I went over all the boss fights, in all of the raids that were like really matters. I didn't go over the dungeon bosses. I haven't done them all yet. But all the raid bosses, like, there's plenty of time to stand still and turret. Like, there's this weird disconnect that people think that you can never stand still and heal, and you have to be always casting things on the move and always casting instant spells. That's not how Legion feels. There are periods of time where you cannot, but there's plenty of time that you can just stand still and heal. Plenty of time. You saw Prayer of Healing earlier. It's your most expensive baseline spell without a holy word. It has now been fixed where you target a person, a party or raid member, and it will heal all, or up to 5 injured allies within 20 yards of the target. So it's no longer bound to a party. It's just, it heals people around the target, and the target if it needs to be. So it'll heal all these characters over here, all these orcs. Not in my party, as you see, but it just heals a random assortment of them each time I heal over here. So I healed that guy way over there. This orc over there got healed. So there's no longer needs to have the weird party interaction anymore, and it will just be a pseudo not so dumb smart heal, because it doesn't only heal the most injured, but a injured ally. So it's a very good quality of life improvement. You still have Mass Dispel, of course. Does the mass dispelling of all harmful magic from 10 friendly targets and 1 beneficial magic effect from up to 10 enemy targets, and potent enough to remove magic that is not normally dispellable. So 15-second cooldown costs a ton of mana. Your most expensive spell, I think I've ever seen, but it's because it's a huge utility. You can still, of course, levitate. You have Leap of Faith, which is a 1.5 minute cooldown, 90 seconds, where you pull a party or raid member instantly to you. And you can use this if you're standing like right inside someone's model, and it still works. So there's a heal you'll see on the artifact that people were like, oh, it's so bad, but you can just stand on someone and use this as like a large little cooldown heal. But you lose the glyph to like pull yourself to someone in Legion. So that's kind of a weird point of contention for the priests overall, is because you lost that you get moved instead of you move someone else. But maybe that'll come back in some other way or fashion, but right now it's not to be seen. So again, we went over heal and flash heal. Fade is just a threat removal. There's no other DRs for the Holy Priest. There's actually no damage reductions at all for the Holy Priest. There's no fade damage reduction. There's nothing else besides Focus Will, which doesn't really work in raids. So that's another one of the weird points that people were kind of worried that, like, well, we're really squishy. But you can always just use a Holy Word on yourself. Or there's 1 to 2 talents that'll help you with that. But I think overall it should be fine because you are a healer. I don't think it's a big deal. And because, like, when you're, like, getting aggressed on in PvP, or you get, like, smacked in the face in a dungeon, Focus Will activate. But there is no, preemptive damage reduction for the Holy Priest, which is kind of a rough spot. But other than that, other thing else you see in there is talents. You still, of course, have Guardian Spirit, which is a 4-minute cooldown, costs some mana. You call upon a Guardian Spirit to watch over a friendly target for 10 seconds, where you increase the healing they receive by 60%, and preventing the target from dying by sacrificing itself. The spirit dies instead. This sacrifice terminates the effect and heals the target for 40% of their max health. You can cast this while stunned, and massive damage amounts will kill the target despite this effect. So this will not save Shadow Priest with Surrender to Madness. It will also, I was told, not save people that take damage that is double the caster's HP. So right now, when I put my artifact on, I have like 1.5 million HP. So if a attack would do 3 million damage to a target, the Guardian Spirit will not work. But that may or may not be changed. I can't test that right now. But I do know that it looks pretty awesome. Those are the new wings for Guardian Spirit. They clip into the ground horribly. I kind of wish they were a little smaller myself. But you do gain the amplified healing on the target from everyone. And of course, the Don't Die Please. I have currently talented Guardian Angel, which when Guardian Spirit expires without saving the target from death, it reduces the remaining cooldown to 90 seconds, just so I can show it off again later. So you can utilize that for a healing cooldown. If the target doesn't die, you save them from dying, then it won't use the cooldown. Your other cooldown you have here is still Divine Hymn, which people love to hate or hate to love Divine Hymn. But you have to channel it. It costs mana, obviously, 48.4. Not too bad, though. 3-minute cooldown where you heal all party or raid members within 40 yards for a amount over 7.5 seconds. The more haste you have, the faster it channels. You also increase the healing done to them by 10 seconds for 8 seconds. Amplify magic by mages is gone in Legion, but Holy Priests still have it. It also does double healing when not in a raid group. This is to make it so it feels okay to be cast in a 5-man, or while questing or whatever. So it does a ton of healing. And it does, after the first tick, amplify itself with the healing received. But what's meant to make sure is that Divine Hem lasts like 8 seconds base or 7.5 seconds. But because it continuously casts, the Divine Hem like amp magic effect gets refreshed every time it pulses. So the amp magic effect actually lasts up to 8 seconds after you Divine Him. Floating is weird. So the healing amplification lasts twice as long as the actual cast does. Well, I mean, it always lasts 8 seconds. So if you have like a 7-second Divine Hem, then you'd have a 15-second window of the healing amplification done to your raid group or your party. So it helps not only you, of course, if you have other heals bouncing around, or mendings, or renews, or whatever else have you. You can then take advantage of that amplification after you Divine Hem, then you can drop a Sanctity, right? Or a Sanctuary, rather, sorry. And get extra healing benefit from that, too, because it lasts so much longer. So that's a hidden bonus because it keeps refreshing the amount. So Divine Him it's a little weaker than Tranquility based on the current numbers in the beta, but it's not, like, horrendously weaker. It's pretty fine. It's not too bad. And there's a perking artifact, which we'll go into next, that actually increases it. But that is the basic rotation and abilities for the Holy Priest. Very thematic stuff. I love the new Serendipity change. I feel it makes a whole lot more sense that you're just rewarded for picking your right spells in the right situation. And it really, really, really helps. Then the chakra system was just so convoluted and awkward and weird. So let's pop on Ture, or Teur, the beacon of the Naru, and you'll see I always put my artifact weapon abilities on 5, just like that's where they always go on every character I play. However, this is not your artifact unlock. Your artifact unlock was changed recently to actually be a passive called Invoke the Naru. So when you use a Holy Word spell, any of the 3 of them, you have a chance to summon an image of Ture at your side. For 15 seconds, whenever you cast a spell, Ture will also cast a similar spell. So I will show you a little bit of this. It is an RPPM system. I'm going to assume it's 0.7 RPPM. A lot of these passives on artifacts are like 0.7, so they're less than once a minute. But because Ture lasts for 15 seconds, it's not too bad to get it once a minute. Because it's a huge amplification in both your healing and your damage. Because Ture will duplicate anything you do. So overall, I have here written down that if you cast Renew, Ture will cast Tranquil Light, which is a small hot on a nearby injured ally. All of the stuff that Ture spawns is nearby injured. It never actually goes on your only target unless you're only able to heal one person. If you're DPSing, it goes on the target you're DPSing, though. Flash Heal, and Serenity will do Healing Light, which is a direct single target heal. Prayer of Healing and Sanctify will do Dazzling Light, which is an instant AoE heal. Prayer of Mending will cast Blessed Light, which is like a chain heal, basically, that like bounce, like a little holy little bump will pass around. Holy Fire, Smite, or Chastise will cast Searing Light, direct single target damage. And Holy Nova will cast Light Eruption, which is an AoE. So right now, I'm pretty sure if I spawn it right now, because I haven't cast anything for a while, the RPPM system will let me summon Ture to my side. Or not. Or not. Or not. Okay. I got trolled so hard there, literally, because I am a troll. But let's cool our stuff down real quick here, and we'll try to summon Ture to help us out here a little bit. Ture, please. There it is. So again, Prayer of Healing will cast this. You'll see the little boof right there. If I cast Mending, you'll see the bounce. If I cast a Flash Heal, you will see it cast right there. If I cast a Holy Fire over here, you'll see Searing Light, and it's probably gonna fade away right now. Oh, and Searing Light. Yeah, goodbye. So that's on any Holy Word cast. So rotating in any Holy Word during your healing rotation, be it Chastise, for Sanctity, or Sanctify, then you will be able to summon Ture to help you out. But again, it is a random time. I do believe it's a 0.7 RPPM. So it does take a while to see it in action, to test it more often. Of course, if you want to see me summon Ture multiple times. You can check out the VOD, linked below, of course, from the entire testing session. Damn. Ture, please. Help me. I'm recording a video right now. But again, I get less than once a minute, I'm pretty sure. So it's not going to proc all that often. Let's go off that with there. And look at this, and one more. And boop-de-boop. Damn it. I'll try to get it in a moment. But there is a heal or a damage spell for everything you cast. And they're written down in my notes as well, so you're going to read them all out so you know what they all do. Again, you can definitely do that. But it's a passive. So it's weird that healers don't like RNG, right? I was trying to find the right words there to explain this, but healers don't normally like RNG when it comes to healing. The thing is, though, whenever Ture spawns, you can take advantage of it. Either if you cannot do anything to heal, then throw in some damage, because it'll amplify the damage you deal. Everything I've seen that he, she does, it's a giant light chime, so, you know, it's probably just an entity of energy, so it's an it. It's like 70% as potent as your abilities, so it's a huge amount of damage, healing, or whatever. So if it procs when you need to do damage, or when you're questing, then go for it. Like, it helps burn down mobs so fast. Or if it procs when you need to be healing, then obviously it'll help you heal. It's really cool, I think, that it's this very powerful interworking passive, and it's not incredibly detrimental that it's actually RNG, whereas normally it's kind of bad to have RNG as a healer. But the ability you see on my bars right now, I'll go into in a little bit. So you have Follower of the Light, which is just 5% healing done. You have Holy Hands, 15% more healing done by Renew. You have Reverence, 15% more healing done by Flash Heal and Heal. You have Holy Guidance, 12% more healing done by Prayer of Healing. This is the heal I talked about for Leap of Faith. Leap of Faith will heal the target for 15% of their maximum health over 6 seconds. So again, you can stand right next to your tank or someone in your party or battle group or raid or whatever, and you can leap them. You can grab them right next to themselves and barely move them at all, and you will give them a 15% max HP heal over 6 seconds. On a tank that has a couple million HP, that's a lot of HP. Now, of course, Leap of Faith is a cooldown, but it costs barely more than a Renew, and it'll heal for way more than a Renew. So it's not that bad. It's kind of boring and very niche, but it's not that bad. One of your worst talents perks here on your artifact is called Focus in the Light. That's when Focus Will is active. Holy Fire and Holy Word Chastise will reduce the target's movement speed by 30% and increase your movement speed by 30% for 3 seconds. It's not that good. It's a filler. I mean, you're going to have to unlock all your artifact anyway because you're going to. But it's like PvP / questing / sort of, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't really do a whole lot. It's kind of like, whatever. But it's there. If you're looking over here at my artifact right now and you see 32, that is because the artifact right now is broken and does not have all 34 points. Every artifact in Legion has 34 overall traits. If you're looking at Wowhead or MMO Champion, they say 35 because their calculators are saying that the golden circle unlock is 1 point, which is wrong. Because on your artifact, as you unlock things, you gain the more stamina, and all healers gain more damage. Unless you're Discipline Priest and you only gain half damage and it doesn't work to... whatever. So it's supposed to be 34, but this perk right here, Power of the Naru, casting Holy Word Sanctify will increase the healing done by Prayer of Healing by 6% for 15 seconds. That's 3 perks. It's just broken right now in the beta realm. So it's actually 18% healing done for 15 seconds. And it's not on one Prayer of Healing. It's on Prayers of Healing, period. You get this buff right here, where it will be actually 18% healing done. And you can actually spam Prayer of Healing all the way with this buff to get back to Sanctify off cooldown. And then you're like, oh, okay, well, let's go again. So if you need to do a ton of AoE healing, this definitely helps you do that with spamming your Prayer of Healing. This only, of course, affects Prayer of Healing, but it's still, like, that's your main heal for AoE situations because it's your main rotational one. There's no cooldown, yada yada. Of course, you have to make sure you're watching your mana because you will dunk it. Serenity Now, I love the reference, increases the critical strike chance of Holy Word Serenity by 15%. This kind of makes your crit a little bit devalued because it's obviously random, but you have about 13% right now on your gear on this testing character, so 15% more on your largest single target heal is very beneficial because it heals for so much. So a crit is double effective, so it'll make your echo double effective. It'll do a huge amount of healing. And again, this is one proponent in how Jack has said he's gotten like 1.8 million Holy Word Serenities. It's just bonkers. You've got Say Your Prayers, which is fine. Prayer of Mending is a 20% chance to not consume a charge when it jumps to a new target. Just helps you keep out more Prayer of Mendings. On average, every one Mending cast will bounce then 6 times. Just on an average of 20%, and you have 5 charges. So you'll gain 1 extra one-ish, maybe 2, but it just kind of happens. However, Holy Mending is when Prayer of Mending jumps to a target affected by your Renew. That target will instantly be healed for a small amount. Now, this does work actually if you just cast it on the target too. So if you have a Renew on your tank all the time, and you're going to cast Mending on the tank all the time, then if you smack them with a Prayer of Mending here, you will also hit them with a Holy Mending. Holy Mending right there in the combat log. So that works when you cast it on a target. So it can bounce to a target with Mending on it, with Renew on it for Mending to bounce to it, or if you just cast it on that person as a follow-up, like Renew Mending, then the Renew heals immediately, that'll start ticking, the on-hit cast of Prayer of Mending will heal them, and then of course if they take damage, Mending will then heal them as well. It's a good little back and forth synergy with the two abilities right here. It's nice. We also have Words of Healing, which increases the healing of all your holy words by 10%. That's Sanctify and Sanctuary. Oh, sorry, Sanctuary is gone. Serenity and Sanctify. But, yeah, it's fine. It doesn't really do as much as you may think, but it's obviously potent on your main single target heal and Serenity. Hallowed Ground reduces the cooldown of Sanctify by 10 seconds. This is a weird one. So by default, obviously all your holy words are a 1 minute cooldown, but this gives your Sanctify a 50-second, which means it comes back up sooner for AoE healing purposes, which I think is more of like a quality of life improvement because Chastise is rotational in the rotation, as I just said that, to make sure you're doing other things to get your cooldown back up or to proc Ture, which still won't proc for me right now. What a butt. Camera shy, I guess. But this helps you because I think Sanctify is a little bit more, because it is a reticle instant heal, you have to like time it properly to heal people in the circle, and it's kind of limited in that fashion because it's only going to heal 6 allies in the 10-yard radius. So having a lower bit of cooldown is, I think, helpful more because you just don't get to use it as directly. Like Chastise just does damage, and Serenity just does healing on the one target. But it just helps a little bit for your AoE healing. Guardians of the Light as Guardian Spirit summons an additional spirit to watch over you, which is okay. It's kind of weird, honestly, because it just does, you just get your own Guardian Spirit, which is fine. It's kind of a weird perk. It's good for PvP, I suppose, but there's very few situations in like a raid or a dungeon where you will also need a Guardian Spirit, but it's nice. That means you just never cast it on yourself. You'll always cast it on someone else to be helpful, which is okay. So the unlock you're seeing on my bars right here is called the Light of Ture, which is a 45-second recharge with 2 maximum charges where you instantly apply healing of the Naru to the target, heal them for an instant amount, and then increasing all healing you do to that target by 25% for 10 seconds. So if you slap that on there, slap this on there, that's a lot of extra healing. I can slap that on there right there and put this down right here, you know? So it has a lot of interaction with using it on someone that takes a lot of damage, using it as instant heal on the move, using it to help bolster Renew on the move, right? It has a good number of uses. And it's your #1 artifact perk to unlock first. I was told that the left side of the artifact, as I bumped my microphone, sorry, is your better bet. You'll be going up this side first, because the right side over here is, like, okay. But the left side has a whole lot more power involved in it, and because you're going to go for Light of Ture first. Your next unlock potential, because you're going in the left side most likely, is Blessing of Ture, which critical heals with Flash Heal, and Heal have a chance to imbue you with the essence of Ture, increasing all healing done that you do by 20% for 12 seconds. So this is your crit synergy. You have to actually have a crit heal. Like, the heal has to crit. And then that has a 20% chance to bless you. So it's not going to proc that often, honestly. Let me try to summon 2-Ray again real quick here. Come on! Am I not in the combat? Maybe not pulsing right properly on me? I have no idea. But, make sure I'm in combat to summon. But I'm just making a whole bunch of flash heals real quick here to see if it procs. It's just kind of rare. It does give you some crit synergy only on Flash of Light and heal. Or Flash Heal and Heal. Flash of Light's a paladin ability. Addon, good job. So, it's okay. But as you see here, it doesn't really proc that often because it only works on Flash Heal and Heal. So you're not going to really see it a whole lot of the time. And I still can't get 2-Ray to proc. I don't know why. What's going on here? 2-Ray, please. What are you doing? Why are you so camera shy? That's so strange. That Echo of Light proccing right there with everything else. Echo of Light actually, like, it stacks, sort of. There's like a pseudo-ignite mechanic behind the scenes here where it will continuously increase and increase and increase, but as the heals fall off behind the very short window that Echo of Light lasts for, it'll obviously not be, you know, up very often overall. There you are. Hello. Let's do some damage real quick here. Yeah, help me out there. So right now, 2-Ray is casting Searing Light over and over again with me. The 51,000 damage is not anything to be, you know, to shake a stick at. It's pretty good. Yeah, and goodbye forever. So, but overall, yeah, like the light, the blessing of 2-Ray, like, is so random. Obviously, the more crit you gain eventually, if you have like maybe a crit trinket or something like that, it helps, but it doesn't proc that often. It kind of feels like it should be on like any critical heal, but having it have a chance on critical heals, it's not very great, but it's fine. It's better than your other one here, which is called Renew the Faith, which is that while Divine Hymn is active, Prayer of Mending will jump to a new target every 0.9 seconds, amplified by haste, without consuming any charges. So if you get lucky with having out 2 mendings before you cast a Divine Hymn, or you get lucky with extra bounces on, say, your prayers, then whenever you cast a Renew the Faith Divine Hymn, you'll get Prayer of Mending bounces. It's kind of hard to show you because it bounces to your party, so I don't think I can bounce it to these orcs. Let me see if it actually works. Maybe it did? I don't know where it went. It went somewhere. Not on me anymore, but I don't know where it went. Who knows? I have no idea. 2-Ray, please. What are you doing? Come on! Damn it. But it's fine. It just gives you a little bit more bonus to your Divine Hymn, because not only will during the Divine Hymn you bounce around your Prayer of Mending all the time, it'll actually heal for 10% more. And again, also, if you have Renews out, if you have Holy Mending up, then you're going to have Renews bouncing, or Renews out while you're getting amplified by Divine Hymn, and your Prayer of Mending is bouncing and causing additional healing when it bounces to a target with Renew. So it's kind of an amplification, I think, only for about 5-man content, maybe for Battlegrounds or Arenas, in a weird way. Because in a raid, you're never going to have enough time to really layer out Renews or get extra mendings out that aren't, like, disappearing immediately. So it's your weakest Golden Dragon for sure. But it's good, but Light of 2-Ray is so much more important to get in the rotation earlier, because it's going to help you overall so much more than anything else. Ah, there you are. Hello. So I'll show you how it casts with Healing Light. It just happens. It's the same animation you're doing right there. You see it over there. If I cast Mending on myself again, it'll do the bounce. Woo! But it's nice. It's DPS and a healing passive. Really pretty potent overall. Right here with Invoke a Naru. So talent-wise, I already showed you Afterlife. I didn't really show it to you. Just makes your Improved Death last longer. Censure is your stun. Whop. Instead of a disorient. Shining Force is a AoE knockback you can cast on someone. It's basically a castable Thunder Shock on a target. So I'll actually show off some DPS stuff for a little bit right over here. Let's run over here to the Mushans and the Crabs. I'll show you what Shining Force looks like. And I'll actually kill some things to show you how DPS works as a Holy Priest, because it's not too bad. I'll go over here to this Mushan real quick here. And let's go over to this, and we'll do a little bit of this nonsense here. So I'll pull, I'll knock it around, I'll throw that Divine Star out there, and then I'll cast Shining Force on myself. Goes way back over there. Get out of here. Crazy River Beast Mushan thing. And then I'll stun it. There you go. There's a little 110 mob, so it's not too bad, honestly. I do believe that Divine Star is going to be your go-to for questing. Like, I mean, that's a 110 mob. Did no damage to me overall. That's not too bad. Honestly, the DPS of a Holy Priest is pretty fine, I think. In comparison to other DPS, obviously it's a little bit weaker, because it's not an actual DPS, but this feels just fine. It's obviously RNG that if you actually get 2 ready to spawn with you when you're DPSing, but you can rotate a Holy Word into your DPS rotation here to heal yourself up. But yeah, it's not bad. Get some procs of Echo of Light there. You heal yourself up with those. Not Echo of Light, Surge of Light rather. But it's okay. And your knockback is helpful. Obviously, you're going to take Censure for questing, though, because you're not going to want the Disorient because it breaks on damage. You're going to want the actual stun. But you have options. That's what Shining Force does for you. Other than that, let's go over your other utility stuff first off. Desperate Prayer has been buffed to be a 20% maximum health heal on a 90-second cooldown. It'll also increase your maximum HP by 20%, like a last stand, and then it decreases by 2% every second. That's your only real DR. It's not even a DR, it's just like a damage counterance, right? Like it's a reactive heal. It's an instant, heals yourself, you gain more HP, it's a little more survivable for a little while, but again, you have no actual DR for the Holy Priest. Additionally, you have Angelic Feathers, which still exist, which are, the feathers are, you can cast them right in front of you and grab the feather and get the 40% sprint for 5 seconds. You can have up to 3 charges of feathers out at one time, or you can put the feathers down and have other people grab them for running fast, gotta go fast, Sonic style, and that's feathers, what they do. The other one here is called Body and Mind, which is basically a weaker version of Body and Soul because you don't have Powered Shield as a Holy Priest. You have this thing, which has no animation right now at all. It's a 10-second cooldown, which puts a 40% sprint for 4 seconds and a small heal on the target. So, it doesn't stack, of course. His movement speed effects in Legion do not stack anymore. Only the strongest one applies. It's a very, very, very weak heal. It doesn't even proc your Mastery, which I think it probably at least should, even though it's like blah. But it needs to do direct healing, because your Master only procs off direct healing, and this just puts a hot on the target. But it's kind of bad in comparison. They're going to take Desperate Prayer for a defensive cooldown, or you're going to take Angelic Feathers for movement. But it gives you an option if you like that playstyle, I suppose. I think it needs to be a little stronger overall. Maybe a faster sprint, or a longer duration, or a slightly larger heal, or an instant heal then plus this small heal, so your Mastery works with the two. But because it's free, it doesn't cost anything. So the heal is like nothing. I mean, what's that, like 50,000 healing, right? Over the course of 4 seconds when you have 1.5 million HP, it's nothing. So your level 15s are Trail of Light, which your flash heal will heal the last target that it healed for 40% of the amount. It's like a weak beacon of light, basically. Trail of Light has a lot of potential with Surge of Light due to the fact that you can bounce around with your free Surge of Light procs, and you also healing the last target you just healed with Flash of Light. So it has a potential benefit there. Of course, that Trail of Light does proc your Mastery. Enduring Renewal is your single target healing spells refresh the duration of renew on the target. This has some synergies with like Binding Heal, that as you heal a target, you also can do it with casting Mending on them as well. Oh, the Mending does not work, actually. Does it not work? It didn't work. I didn't know that. Okay. So only then Flash Heal and Serenity and Heal will do it. Yep. That's all that will happen. But it just saves you globals, and with Binding Heal, which I'll show you a little bit, it makes it so like 5-man healing will probably be pretty easy. But like a lot of the time, Renew is such a small amount of your overall healing now in Legion that it's just kind of like, it saves you globals, but whatever. A good passive will be Enlightenment, where you regenerate 10%, you regenerate mana 10% faster. All this does is give you 10% more mana regeneration. So by default, your mana regen is actually 44,000. So it gives you another 4,400. So just passive mana regeneration, because these both are like mana-ish talents, because you gain more potency from Flash Heal, or gain less channeling, or less recasting of Renew with Enduring Renewal. So Also, for those wondering, this is a add-on I'm using right now that is a upgraded version of the new paper doll in Legion. It's linked below in the description box for this video. If you want to download it for your beta testing, please feel free. It's very nice. It only shows still pertinent things for the class or spec you're playing, but it helps because the default one right now in Legion is very lackluster, I think. Alright, your other utility tier is Light of the Naru, which is personal utility, where Serendipity will reduce the remaining cooldown of the appropriate Holy Word spell by an additional 2 seconds. Probably your guaranteed DPS talent, because it will then reduce, your smites will reduce your Chastise by 8 seconds then. So it's instead of a 6-second reduction on Serendipity, it's 8 seconds on everything, which is good for questing. Obviously, you'll get more Chastises out during the rotation here. But obviously, it's personal cooldowns, because it will reduce, of course, your Serenity and Sanctify more often, which is great, right? But it's very personal. I told you about Guardian Angel earlier. You'll get more Guardian Spirits if you use it and it doesn't actually revive the target. Well, it dies to revive the target, right? Symbol of Hope, however, is going to be your probably ipso facto never take off for raid healing, depending on how long an encounter lasts. So it's a 6-minute cool Innervate. Innervate. It's an interesting innervate. Goodness. You bolster the morale of all healers in your party and raid within 40 yards, allowing them to cast spells for no mana cost for 10 seconds. So it's an AoE innervate. So casting spells cost no mana. No mana. No mana. Oh, that's a free spell right there. So Symbol of Hope is huge, but it probably won't be that good unless the fight lasts at least 6 minutes or so. Or more than that, because you want to probably try to get like 2 Symbol of Hopes off in one encounter to make it worthwhile. It'll still be worthwhile on a probably like N-tier boss fights like Gul'dan or Xavius or even Cenarius, at fights that are probably gonna last like 10 minutes long on the first kill because of just DPS priority and stuff like that, just scaling. So, but Symbol of Hope, if you can get one off like kind of early on the fight and then later on when you're like your mana is a little bit more like dire in that regard, Symbol of Hope is pretty huge. Also because you can Symbol of Hope into another, you know, Druid or Resto Druid or Balance Druid, putting up Innervate on either you or someone else in your healing team. They'll get 20 seconds of mana regen with not spending anything. So they're huge to couple together. Symbol of Hope is great for raids. I don't think it'll be that good in dungeons. I don't imagine in PvP either. So you have Light of the Naru and Guardian Angel for those as well. These are all really good talents. They're all, a lot of these final ones in these last 4, I mean, everything really. I think overall, Holy Priest has great talents to change around what they want to do and how they want to tackle healing in Legion. So you know what Surge of Light does. Surge of Light is your healing spells and smite. You have an 8% chance to make your next flash heal instant and cost no mana, 2 charges maximum. You have seen it multiple times during this video. A lot of the synergy is that people use D-Star to make sure you always proc some Surge procs. So that's why I have Divine Star currently activated here. But Surge of Light is going to be a great set and forget for the most part because it just really helps your mana priority. It also works well with Enduring Renewal or even Trail of Light. Addon, please. So there's your possibility there. Binding Heal now is the always glyphed version. So it heals a friendly target, you, and a third friendly target within 20 yards for an amount. It costs more mana than a Flash Heal by a little bit. Flash Heal costs 30,000, 30.8, and Binding is 33,000. But again, with like a small group, like a party, like if you're in a 5-man, and you have Enduring Renewal, and you have like a whole bunch of renews up there on all your different raid, you know, party members, and you're casting Binding Heal now and then, Binding Heal will keep up Enduring Renewal. So it's okay. It's good for smaller content. It's not really that great in raids because it still costs more mana. Also, what you don't see here is the tooltip updates that it triggers Serendipity. So it reduces the remaining cooldown on both Holy Word Serenity and Holy Word Sanctify, but only by 3 seconds. Which I don't think it actually works with Light of the Naru as well. I'd have to actually check. Symbol of Hope is on cooldown, of course, so I won't be able to check for 4 minutes. But if you don't take Binding Heal, the Serendipity line, the paragraph is in the tooltip here. But if you take it, it goes over to actually for Serendipity. It's the bottom paragraph now. When you cast Binding Heal, the reading cooldown of your Holy Word Serenity and Holy Word Sanctify are reduced by 3 seconds. Jack was suggesting that it should only reduce the cooldown of whatever one is not available to you. So if you have like if Sanctify is on, if it's up, right? It's not off cooldown. Then it should work that it gives all the cooldown reduction to the one not ready, like the one cooling down, to make it a little bit more appealing instead of always doing 3 to both, because you might not be using both at the same time all the time. So kind of like half of its serendipity cost is, or benefit is gone in the cost of the spell. But I'm not sure if that's a huge deal, because it's kind of super superfluous in that regard. Also, Binding Heal makes Toure not cast anything, which I think is a bug. So that's probably the only problem right now with that, is Binding Heal does not do anything with Toure, which is kind of strange. I think. Toure, why are you doing this to me? Why you do this? I'll have to make sure I check that out. Maybe put that in my bug report. That might not work. But it might also be intentional, because Binding Heal is a talented heal, so it's a little bit different. So it only really works with your basic spells that I've seen. Piety is Jack's least favorite, where it's just Prayer of Mending will now trigger Serendipity on your Holy Word Sanctify. So just casting, not the jumps, just the cast of a Mending will give you 6 or 8 seconds off of your Sanctify. Which I still think is fine if you're doing a lot of AoE healing, but that just depends on what you need to happen. Whereas Surge of Light is just effective mana gain and free additional healing. You've seen Divine Star, of course, like a bajillion times in this video, but Divine Star actually does very light healing now and a lot more damage. So, of course, the best way to make Divine Star work is you want to cast it behind your party and raid, so that it will heal them on the way out and the way in. But, of course, the synergy with Surge of Light is great, because Divine Star hits so many people on the way out and the way in that it just gives you more Surge of Light chances. And its mana cost is pretty fine, 15-second cooldown, but it's probably your better bet for DPSing. Halo is very similar in this effect, where Halo will expand outward 30 yards and heal for a light amount, a little bit more, of course, than Divine Star, but it's a 40-second cooldown, and it will deal damage as well when it hits things. So you can use it for doing damage like a dungeon, I suppose, but that is the Halo effect. But again, Halo and Divine Star are both less healing, more damage, to give you that benefit of what you want to choose. So I'm not really sure. Depends what you want to do. I've been told that Halo is better for like really spread out fights, and obviously Divine Star is better for stacked up fights. They'll both proc Surge of Light, obviously, but Divine Star is probably your better bet for almost all the time. However, it depends on the encounter, and depends on if you want to run with Divinity. So Divinity was nerfed recently, and it was now 15% healing done for 8 seconds after you use a Holy Word spell. That's after you use any Holy Word. So you use Chastise, right? Or not. Doesn't work on Chastise, huh? Interesting. It's supposed to, but I guess it didn't. Oh, that changed too. It says when you heal. Duh. I totally thought that was the old version, because it used to be stronger and work on Chastise? Maybe it isn't. But also, my brain is all kerfuffled with all this healing nonsense. So it's only when you heal with a Holy Word spell, your healing spells will be increased by 15% for 8 seconds. So you can stack this up with the Light of Toure. If the Blessing of Toure procs, you can stack that up with that as well. Obviously, the Power of the Naru does work the same way. So if you cast Sanctify, what you saw there, not only do you gain the Sanctify buff to Prayer of Healing, you also gain Divinity then. So you're gaining 18% more healing through Power of the Naru and 15% more healing by Divinity. So it's a lot of additional healing you can compound. So Divinity is good, and it's a rotational one that only works on your 2 healing Holy Words, now that I derped that up in the video. But I totally thought it worked on Chastise too, and that gave more incentive to use it in your rotation all the time, but I guess not. They may have also changed that. I have no idea. But 50% healing for 8 seconds is fine. You get a lot of cooldowns in that window, and of course you have a lot of small stacking healing effects that just gives you more effective healing. Benediction is kind of blah. Prayer of Mending has a 50% chance to leave a renew on each target that it heals. Nah. Circle of Healing is still here and still good. Reduces the cooldown with your haste stat. It costs a lot of mana overall, but it is also the 5 injured allies within 30 yards of the target for a amount. It gives you more movement effectiveness. You have a heal that you can do on the move, is Circle of Healing. It's been a part of the Holy Kit for a very long time, so Circle of Healing is not going to go anywhere. What has, however, joined the party is Apotheosis. And Apotheosis is a cooldown for you. It's a throughput healing cooldown. It's also a DPS cooldown as well, so you're probably going to take Apotheosis for questing as well. But you go into a pure holy form for 30 seconds. I'm going to levitate myself so I get a little higher up here so you can see the whole form. And for 30 seconds, you increase the effect of Serendipity by 200%. So without Light of the Naru, that's every spell that reduces Serendipity's cost for holy words is 18 seconds, 6, 12, 18. With Light of the Naru, it's 24 seconds, 8, 16, 24. So if you take Light of the Naru or not, which I think Light of the Naru, again, is a better questing talent, you can use Light of the Naru to have a ton of DPS potential, or you can use a ton of healing potential with Apotheosis because you can reduce the cooldown so fast of your 2 major healing holy words. It also makes your holy words cost nothing during Apotheosis. So we'll show this off real quick here for both in 30 seconds. So if I do this holy, there it is. If I DPS right now, and if I cast a Smite, you're going to see it go down by a lot. And it's already back. So it's a huge DPS cooldown. If you do some healing, you're going to have, there's that, and then you're going to be flash healing, and you're going to flash heal again, and one more time, and you're back. There you go. Put some Light of Tour up there. You're going to cross this real quick here. Cast some Prayer of Healings right now. Boom. And boom. And it's already back again. Whammo. Like, it's... Apotheosis is very, very strong. But it's funny that it's like a DPS cooldown and a healing cooldown. Because, again, you got to do DPS as a healer now, too, to quest and whatnot. But really powerful, really powerful personal cooldown for both damage and healing, depending on what you want to do. If there are fights where you can really gain the benefit of it, Benediction is an easy passive meh, and Circle of Healing is probably for more movement fights, or if you need more AoE healing that is more consistent over the course of an encounter, because obviously Apotheosis is a cooldown. But it works really well with Divinity, because you're going to be casting your holy words a lot during that period of time. So that's a trade-off that, like, you can take Apotheosis, obviously, if you're doing damage, and take Divine Star. But Apotheosis doesn't really do a lot of work with Halo or Divine Star for healing. And it kind of hurts the fact that if you cast something else that isn't reducing a holy word, you're, like, losing the effectiveness of Apotheosis. So there's a trade-off there that better, more seasoned Holy Priest will figure out than I. But that is the Holy Priest. It looks so much better overall than the Disciplined Priest, which is just a bag of ass, basically. So let me know in the comments below what you think of it. If you made it this far through the video, please leave a like if you enjoyed it, if you liked all the information. Also, give me your best holy ... jokes or puns that are about holy cow or holy garbanzo beans or holy whatever. Give me some holy-oriented puns and jokes below. Video description box has the VOD, other ways to support the channel right here on either YouTube or on Patreon or on my Twitch stream. Whatever have you. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm going to go and put together my new computer. So I'll see you all in a couple of days, those of you on YouTube. And then, of course, I will see you all in the next Legion testing video.